Welcome to the best wrestling podcast in the world. Everything's Wrestling Podcast. My name is Nick. Like always, we have a whole lot to get to in episode 4. We have stuff from Raw. NXT Deadline happened this past weekend. AEW, their main event scene, their tournaments happening. And we have Saturday Night main event happening this coming Saturday. Let's get right into everything. Let's start with Monday Night Raw because a whole lot happened leading up to Saturday Night Main Event and the Netflix premiere on January 6th. First, we had CM Punk and Seth Rollins both having segments dogging each other. CM Punk saying that he's the starter, and Seth Rollins was cool while CM Punk was away, but Punk is back and Seth Rollins needs to go to the bench. Seth Rollins saying that Punk is only here because he failed at everything else. Makes sense. I thought that we were saving this feud and this potential match for Mania 41, but with it starting so early, like we're in December, unless we're having another long feud with Punk, Rollins this time, I think we're getting this match earlier than everyone was expecting. I think we'll get this match maybe at the Netflix premiere, probably main eventing that event, because from all reports, it seems like WWE is treating the Netflix Raw premiere like a PLE, and Seth vs. Punk is definitely a PLE WrestleMania worthy main event. So I can see that match happening at Netflix, going into the Rumble, maybe costing each other, and then we'll get Elimination Chamber probably with them too, and another Saturday Night Main Event, something involving them, and then we'll see where WrestleMania lines up. I thought this first match was happening at WrestleMania, but maybe that will be the end of the feud and not the beginning. In my mind, I keep thinking about how the social media and the numbers for Roman and Punk were during Survivor Series, and maybe we're getting a change of plans, but I still don't think so. I still think Seth versus Punk is endgame in terms of Mania 41, but the feud is kicking off way earlier than I thought. Other stuff on Raw, how about the New Day getting booed out the building? God damn. Guess what? It's deserved. Great heel turn last week. They deserved the Dominic Mysterio treatment where they couldn't even really speak in the ring. I thought the little moment in the back with Xavier taking the camera and going down the ramp was great. Them not being able to fully talk or even explain themselves was awesome to see. Just dropping the mic and leaving. You could run this for a couple weeks, just like this, and it would be fantastic. Super heel thing for Kofi and Woods to say was that they didn't even do anything to E. Kofi said we could have took a chair to his back. Who would have thought? 2024, definitely going into 2025, we'll be booing the ever living hell out of the New Day. I can't wait to see more. I said it on Threads last night during Raw, but what if Xavier and Kofi bring out Ridge Holland for a segment or show up to NXT and have a meeting with Ridge? You think their heel heat on Raw was something crazy? Imagine them introducing Ridge on Monday Night Raw. The roof may blow off whatever building they're in. But pay attention. I'm just calling it. I'm just suggesting things. I'm not evil at all. Ridge Holland, New Day? Oof. I'm happy that Damian Priest came out on Monday Night Raw and was added to the Gunther and Finn Balor match at Saturday Night Main Event, because I thought we were going to get, a run-in with Priest costing Finn this time. But adding him to the match is awesome. I love it. And then we also got the announcement of Drew versus Sammy at Saturday Night Main Event. I feel like that's a little rushed, but I think that's just the first match of probably a few leading into Rumble and Elimination Chamber. I can see all these main event type feuds kind of blending all together with the Rumble Elimination Chamber, and all these guys kind of jockeying for a main event spot at Mania. It's going to get real interesting. All these storylines are kind of tying into each other. We'll see how Gunther plays into this, and then when Cena shows up, how he plays into this. But there's 2 WrestleMania main events, and there's a whole bunch of people gunning for those 2 spots. It's going to get really interesting over the next 4 months. 2 things I thought was real interesting on Raw. They did announce it beforehand, but Rhea Ripley and Raquel main evented Raw. That's not the surprise part. It's that Rhea Ripley had her first singles match on Raw since January 2024. January to December is the difference between Rhea Ripley having singles matches on Raw, which is crazy. And then also, Liv had a singles match on Raw too versus Dakota, and that was Liv's first singles match on Monday Night Raw since July. I like both matches. Both matches were really good. Raw needs more of those 2 having matches, not just segments on Raw going back and forth with each other. I think you should put them in the ring more. We need to see Rhea more in the ring. We need to see Liv more in the ring, especially with Liv being champion. And then you tying in EO into the mix because we have EO versus Liv at Saturday Night Main Event. I thought those parts played well on Raw last night. And I also really enjoyed the Final Testament versus the Wyatts 6 match. I wish it was like a free-for-all brawl, but the 8-man tag was cool. Cross gets the win over Uncle Howdy. I'm curious to see where that goes in the next couple months. And Cross's whole agenda is showing that the Wyatts and Uncle Howdy aren't as good as they want you to believe. And he feels like it's his job to show the world that they're not the heroes that we all think they are. Good match. Looking forward to seeing more from these 2 teams. On Raw Talk, Miz tried to get away after getting the win. And Cross is like, nah, you're still with us. So I'm sure we're still planning to see more Cross and Miz and the Wyatt 6 going after each other. Let's switch over to NXT Deadline that happened last Saturday. All 5 matches were really good to great. Great PLE overall. I enjoyed every single match. The men's Iron Survivor match was good. We had the return of Obafemi, and he just dominated when he came in. I thought everybody in the match ended up looking really good. I love the Oba and Ethan Page part in the little cubicle box thing when Oba was just destroying Ethan. Oba gets the win. Him and Trick Williams have a match coming up in January, which I've been thinking about for a while. I thought Oba and Wesley should be the next 2 in line for the men's NXT championship. Oba being back, getting the win is very big. I know people were calling for him to be called up to the main roster, but I think right now is not the time. There's still a little more work for Oba to do in NXT, and I'm glad he's back, and I'm glad he got the win. With Trick Williams defended and retained the NXT Championship against Ridge Holland. Decent match overall. The spot with Trick and his neck being stuck in the ropes was scary and super well done because they told the story from before of Ridge attacking Trick. So having that call back and then doing that spot was great. And then it led to Trick Williams getting the win. He retains, again, Oba versus Trick very, very soon. Jada Parker versus Lola Vice in the Underground match was fantastic. They kicked each other's ass. I really enjoyed it. That was probably the match I was looking forward to the most. And it lived up to all my expectations. Lola Vice gets the dub. I'm curious to see where they go with both of them in the future. Do we run this back? Or do we move on from this feud for a little while? There's a North America Championship there. There's the NXT Women's Championship there. Personally, I would love to see them two eventually team up, enemies to friends, and then go after the women's tag titles eventually. They're super talented and they're moving up in that very, very, very tough women's division. The women's Iron Survivor match with Julia picking up the dub and it will be Julia versus Roxanne running that match back. I thought all the women in the Iron Survivor match kicked ass. All of them. Ren, Julia, Stephanie Valcour, Soruka, and Zarya all kicked ass. All had moments, all had time to shine. I loved the very last few seconds with Julia picking up a win, and then Stephanie Valcour was so close to tying it up, but time just ran out on her. I'm calling it now of Stephanie Valcour costing Julia the match against Roxanne, and we'll get a Valcour versus Julia feud leading into Stand and Deliver 2025. The Soul Snatchers from Soruka was great every single time. The double Soul Snatcher was fantastic. The one on Ren was great. The Zarya spot through the table, they had to do it because she was going to just dominate that match, so you had to get her out of there for a while. But she shined, Ren shined. I just loved the match overall. Very, very, very good match, as expected with those 5 talents. For me, match of the night, and probably when you're talking NXT for the whole year of 2024, you'll have to look at match of the year in the NXT tag team match. NQCC versus Fraxium. This is after Frazier was in the Iron Survivor match. This was 2 matches later, I think. So he was all beat up. Miles and Tavion showed out in this match. Both of them look great. Fantastic, especially Tavion. He has it. Whatever that it is that people talk about, he has it. Miles has it. And of course, Fraxium has it. I was calling for either or both of these teams directly after the match be sent straight to Raw, because Raw needs this type of match and these type of teams showing out every single week. And these 2 teams can definitely do it. Match of the night. Spots were great. Close near falls. Everyone thought Fraxium wasn't okay, but I'm here to tell you, Fraxium is fine. All 4 stood out. Great match. It'll be in the contender for NXT Match of the Year. Be in the contender for WWE Match of the Year. Fraxium retains. They move on. I don't know who's next in line with this, but we'll see. AEW, and specifically the AEW Continental Classic Tournament, has been great. I know when it was first announced, I was a little skeptical about who was going to be in the tournament. But over the last couple of weeks, I've been loving every single match on this tournament. As the tournament is going on, I'm showing myself to be more and more of a Kyle Fletcher fan. Him versus Shelton, great on Dynamite. Him versus Okada, great on Collision. Fletcher picking up the win on both of those matches, fantastic. The tournament as a whole has been so much fun. Great matches all around. Claudio versus Brody King. We had Commander versus Ricochet. We had Pac versus Jay White. We had Commander versus Darby Allin. Every match in this tournament has been so much fun to watch. The cards for Dynamite, Rampage, and Collision has all been good since this tournament's been announced and since this tournament been happening. The Continental Classic has been fantastic to watch. I'm looking forward to seeing where it leads up to and who goes into the finals for World's End. My money right now is on Kyle Fletcher. To go along with the Continental Classic, we've had the main event scene in AEW, all revolving around the title that Jon Moxley has. Moxley and the Death Riders versus Orange Cassidy versus Jay White versus Darby Allin versus Hangman Adam Page. Now with what happened with Collision with the Death Riders attacking Orange Cassidy, FTR gets involved. It's really Death Riders versus the world right now. I'm enjoying it. I don't know where it leads in terms of World's End. Are we getting a big tag match with Death Riders versus AEW? Or are we getting some type of multi-man match with Moxley versus a bunch of the main eventers for the AEW Championship? Either or, for me, works. Doesn't matter. Really loving Hangman Page being the reluctant hero in this story, because he's just a madman, and for even Moxley to be reluctant to step to Page is just a little touch, but it's so good. I know this is going way out there, but Put the title on Hangman. A little like let him be the hero we need right now. And with AEW, as this is coming out on a Wednesday, AEW and Dynamite and Winter is happening tonight. The card looks stacked. It looks like a pay-per-view card. Like we have Moxley and Pac versus Jay White and Orange Cassidy in the main event. We have Mariah versus Mina for the AEW Women's Championship. We have Claudio versus Will Ospreay, Ricochet versus Brody King, Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly, winner faces MJF at World's End. That's a pay-per-view. That's a great card. All 5 matches on that card looks fantastic. And quickly with the Mariah May versus Mina match for the AEW Women's Championship, I'm curious to see if we get a returning Toni Storm. I don't know. But by the time this airs, the show will be out. So who knows? We'll talk about it next week on the next episode. But does Toni Storm return? Does MJF get involved with the Cole and O'Reilly match? We'll see. And where does Hangman Page fit into that main event tag team match? He's definitely coming out. Oh, and Matt Cardona is facing Chris Jericho for the ROH Championship. And Cardona will be on Dynamite, which is cool. The Indie God is on Dynamite. A lot to look forward to with AEW and Winter's Coming and World's End in the tournament. Stacked. SmackDown seems like it was so far ago, but we have new WWE Tag Team Champions with DIY turning heel, and it was all a game and a ploy with Gargano and Ciampa. They beat Motor City Machine Guns, Low Blow, DIY, new champs, and heels. Should be pretty good. Bloodline 2.0 coming out and jumping Andrade and LA Knight was fun because Nakamura was just standing there like a crazy man. Looked like they were about to jump him too, but they let him live for now. I don't know where this is going with Bloodline 2.0 since they're down 2 men with Tonga Loa tearing his bicep and Bronson Reed breaking his foot. We just had the 3-man team right now. But if they're going after LA Knight or Andrade or the US Championship, that's cool with me. And I would even say put 2 of them back into the tag division and let them go after the tag titles too. The Kevin Owens, Michael Cole interview in Kevin Owens' rental car was so fun. Kevin Owens is so unintentionally funny. He's probably one of the funniest people in all of WWE. Again, points were made from Kevin Owens. I think Kevin Owens has been right in all of this. So I'm on Kevin Owens' side as we're going into probably the main event of Saturday Night Main Event. Does Kevin Owens win the title? Is that where we're headed? I don't know. We got one more SmackDown to go. They still haven't brought up Kevin Owens even caring about the championship at all. So we have one more SmackDown to go before Saturday Night Main Event. We'll see. Nick Aldis is teasing a new superstar is coming to SmackDown, and he's going to face Carmelo Hayes on SmackDown. We don't know who it is yet. Is it a brand new superstar, like new signing? Is it a call-up from NXT? Is it somebody from Raw? Is it a returning superstar we haven't thought about in a while? No idea. But they're facing Carmelo on Friday. And then one more thing with SmackDown. I thought the Bianca and Piper Niven match was great. I love seeing them two go at it. Bianca showing her strength, being superhuman, picking Piper up for the KOD. I can watch that all day long. Great match. Great segments in the back with the tease of who attacked Jade. Maybe this plays out for a couple more weeks. Maybe we'll see closer to Mania. I don't know. I'm still going with Naomi being the one that attacked Jade. And a couple things that are wrestling, but not particularly on wrestling. We had Jey Uso and Sami Zayn at the Big 12 College Football Championship. They were presenting the title and the trophy to Big 12 winner. It's cool to see them on field. Jey Uso in the traditional Samoan wrestler outfit of black turtleneck with the gold chain. Sammy just looking happy to be there. Becky Lynch announced that she'll be playing Magic the Gathering with the star of Blue Beetle and Cobra Kai on Thursday on, I think Magic the Gathering's YouTube channel. Look for that. I think that's this Thursday at around, I think either 10 or 11. Should be cool to see. I love the crossover between Magic and pro wrestling. Becky Lynch is awesome. I'm definitely going to watch. And then news broke, I think today or yesterday, that Bronson Reed and his broken foot that he just had surgery on, or he's going to have surgery on, means Bronson Reed is going to be out at least through Mania, which sucks. He's been on such a good run. Monday Night Raw is going to miss him so much. But at post-Mania, going into late spring, summertime, Bronson Reed is going to come back as a bigger, stronger, faster monster. And I can't wait to have him back on Raw. And with that, I think we'll wrap up this episode. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Like, comment, subscribe. Give a rating on Spotify and Apple, or leave a review. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Find me on all socials at notnick_s. I'm everywhere. TikTok, Instagram, Threads, YouTube. Doesn't matter. I'm there. Find me. If you're watching or listening to this podcast, share it in your Instagram stories and tag me. I'll repost it. Thanks for watching. Everything is Wrestling Podcast. Again, Nick.